Eat first.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, well, we hope you're over 18 because we might just swear on this podcast. Yes, Randy, we're probably going to swear because Mr. Monty and myself are going to have some fun today. I hope I said that properly. It's good to see you. And as always, we got to show off Randy and all his views because we don't care. Most views on the podcast, but we're going to beat that today. How you doing today, Mr. Monty?
I am feeling good. And you did butcher it a little bit, but it's all good. We're going to get through this shit. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We are going to do it.
So I'm in Wisconsin. You're in Minnesota. How is Minnesota and the cold going today? I know we got a little bit of a cold front going here. So,
oh no, it ain't that cold. It was though, cold as shit a little while ago. But no, we're getting to that confusing in between time in the winter, where stuff starts to melt and you're feeling good and you're like, yeah, you mess around and go outside in some shorts and freeze your nuts off. So that's where we're at right now. So you never know what's gonna happen with it.
Oh, I definitely love the cold. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but this is a wrestling podcast. This isn't a weather podcast, and you know why you're here. Let's just jump into those first earliest memories of you with wrestling, sir.
Oh man, earliest memories is probably old school, having like the Hulk Hogan toys and stuff,
Okay.
And all that. Everybody used to walk around, brother, with the pythons, brother. Oh yeah, Macho Man. Like that's where it all starts. That's where it starts when you're young. We get all the little toys and all that. And I think it hit its boom with the beginning of the Attitude Era.
Okay.
And that's when I believe me and my brother were like really like you tuned in. You don't miss Raw or SmackDown. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you tuned in, like, no, we gotta see what happened because it's about to go down. There's some beef. So we used to tune into that, and then it just snowballed into there with like when the video games started coming out, and that was just we were in it, man. We were in it. You had to have your little personas and you walked around, it was good. It was feeling good.
Mm-hmm. Now, for the people obviously don't know, when we first met, like I love this story, is how like you probably open the door and you're like, who is this ginger mofo outside my house?
Hey.
Like, and then like you had to kind of feel me out. I had to feel you out. And little did we know that we would bond over wrestling, video games, Star Wars, movies. I mean, just just polar opposites, judging a book by its cover, but look at how far we came. 8 years later, we're still friends, so.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. And you took me to my first indie show too, and that was fun. Mm-hmm. That shit was wild. So nah, man. Like it's because wrestling's kind of that, as much as it's everywhere, it's still depending on where you're at, still kind of that low key thing that like not too many people talk about or really get into. So it's like you can't just walk into your school and be like, oh yeah, did you check out Raw or SmackDown? Because people are gonna look at you and be like, the hell are you talking about? But
right.
So when you find those people, it's like, oh, okay, you watch a little, all right, like, what's up? Like, you do this or you tune into there. So yeah, I was like, oh shit, he likes, especially Star Wars. Come on now, man.
Yep.
Star Wars is another one. It's like people don't, I gotta like Star Wars. Only like 3 black people in Star Wars. So, you gotta enjoy a little bit, at least, They trying to get diverse. They ain't like Star Trek. Star Trek they had their thing going on. They met their quota. Star Wars still got to get there though. But
yeah.
They got to get there.
So you mentioned the Hulk Hogan, you mentioned the Macho Man and the Attitude Era here. We're just trying to get everybody back on track from us being our normal selves. Was there any other characters that like stood out to you or scared you or that you gravitated towards because of wrestling?
Oh, man. I think, as weird as it probably sounds, me and my brother were huge Hardy Boy fans.
Okay.
Huge Hardy Boy fans. And my brother used to like the Road Warriors. He used to like the Road Warriors. And we were big, huge Hardy Boy fans. And that's when like tag teams were like the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you would go out there, you would watch them, and everybody was flying off of something, breaking something, flying off of something. Like And it doesn't feel like it's like that anymore. Not so much anymore. I wish it would kind of tick back in that direction. But no, excuse me. But yeah, that was kind of like where it started.
Okay.
That was like our big thing. We were like, yo, the Hardy Boys, like they're wild. Like they're just coming out there just jumping off of everything and flipping like, yo, what the hell's wrong? But it was fun to watch. And then you always had the, the Eddie Guerreros and of course the Rock and Stone Cold and even Triple H. Something about those guys. What they brought out when they came out, you always, no matter what, like if you weren't watching it, when you heard them though, you would turn to see what was going on. Like, what's about to pop off? Like, who's going to say something? What's going to go down? Like, even Triple H being the heel for most of his career, you were just like, yo, like he's the heel in the industry. Like, he's the bad guy you want to be. Like, you got to get to that point to be that guy. Like, whether he was good or bad, like, in The Rock, same way. He's like, whether he was heel, babyface, whatever, he was still, as he says, he was still the people's champ. Like when he came out, you was listening to him. You were listening, you were laughing. Even if you were booing him, you were still like, yeah, but he did whoop old boy's ass though. So
yeah. I wasn't like a huge Rock fan, but I used to just love when he would mess with Lillian and be like, do you like pie or do you like strudel? Like I'm not a huge Rock fan. I love him as an actor. Don't get me wrong. I love his work in film, but definitely when him and Lillian would go on the pie or strudel thing, I just thought that was so great. I can appreciate more as an adult because like I know what he's getting at. As a kid, you're like, oh, but then the light bulb turns on and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and see, that's the best part because then, like, as you get older, then you really think about it, and you're like, dude, they let this go on TV for how long? Like this man was out here talking about what? But
and the attitude there, you can probably agree or disagree here. I always felt like it's not that great, but I mean, if you go back, you had your Austins, your HBK, and all them. They made it good, but then all that other stuff was just garbage. I mean,
it's what made it good. I believe what made it watchable. It was them. First off, it was their talent on the mic, and whether you may like his in-ring performances or whatever, like that's what gravitates people to like The Rock. Because once he grabs that mic and starts talking, and he starts shit talking, like it's over. Like he's there, and you're just like, he's out here making fun of everybody. That's what it was. But it was the performances. Like I could barely watch a performance during that time where like I didn't really want to watch it. And that was with anybody. Like you're watching Intercontinentals, hardcore, back when the hardcore belt was a thing. You were watching all that, and it was just whenever two people had to square up, you were going to get a show. Whether it was a big show or a little show, like you were getting a show. And it was something that you were just like, oh, like nowadays it doesn't, personally for me, it doesn't really feel like that as much nowadays when you turn it on. Like if it's like the littler people who aren't really fighting for a belt or not really doing nothing, it's like, oh, okay, they're out there, they're doing something like, yeah, they got their screen time, that's good. But it never feels like it's elevating to a point where you're just like, yeah, this isn't the main card, but like, dude, they were out there like just beating the hell out of each other, putting on a show for the fans, So that's what made the Attitude Era for me. Like it was the thing. Like, yeah, the a lot of the storylines were kind of out there, but everybody brought it. So
yeah, and then back then too, I mean, they had to sell the marquee matches, and in my opinion, like I feel like the promos were better back then. I mean, there's a lot of good talkers now, don't get me wrong, but like like you said, when The Rock had that microphone, you're like, what is he gonna say? And one of my favorite things to this day, no one gets it but a few wrestling fans, is I'll blurt out, hey, what's 2 + 2? and they're about to answer 4, and I'm like, no, Thomas Jefferson, sucker, because he said that to Booker T, and I thought that was the funniest thing I had ever heard. It makes no sense out of any context, ever, but just because he said that to Booker T, I thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
See, and that's the thing. Like it was, and it's like, and it wasn't that he said it. It was everything about it. He said it. He didn't look like he was cracking a smile. He was straight faced. Like he didn't stumble over his lines to get it out. Like the way it came out, the delivery, everything, the way Booker T reacted to it, it was just like, like, dude, like, yeah, like I said, I'm in your face. Like, yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever. It's the dumbest thing ever when you hear it. It's so dumb. Even calling somebody a jabroni, like, what the hell is that? But it's like, but if it happened on the street, you'll be like, what? But when The Rock said it and the way he was doing this thing, you were just like, it's about to go down. Like he ain't playing, So it was just great. Like everybody always felt like they brought it. And don't forget Jericho. Jericho had some. He had some mic. Jericho had some mic skills. Like he don't get a lot of his praise for it, but Jericho had his mic skills. That shit was funny.
I personally liked him in WCW, and then when he transitioned over to WWE, again, I don't put the politics into it. I just try to go off character and stuff, but he's always reinventing himself. He's always coming up with a new catchphrase. The List, Stupid Idiot, Jerichoholics, the list goes on and on and on. Pun intended, I guess. But one of my favorite things, with Jericho was when Dean Malenko was the man of 1,000 holds. Chris Jericho became the man of 1,001 holds just to be that smug heel. And then he's on WCW reading them off with his long, people have seen the meme, reading off every move he does. And then he kept going back to armbar, blah, 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 armbar, so yeah. Jericho is definitely a good stick man, that's for sure. So,
hey, whether you loved them or hate them, you watched them. That was the whole thing. Like you watched them. Like there are very few in the division back then who you really wouldn't watch, and you were tuned in because everything was just over the top and it was crazy. But they brought it, and like now it's like you're waiting for those kind of key storylines to kind of get your attention. Like the bloodline stuff, I think is very interesting the way that they're doing. I think it's a very interesting, like the whole outsider looking in type thing. Like it's the being accepted type thing, and you're like, okay, and how that goes about. So, but it's interesting how they're doing it, and how they're like playing it, and how they're doing this whole thing. So, and this is just gold. Like I didn't think it would really be this good, but damn, like
it's definitely with the bloodline, you don't know where it's going. A few people do, because Sammy was in it, was supposed to just be a quick little thing, and next thing you know, it's like the biggest story. You don't know what's happening with one of the Usos. The other, when he came back, you didn't know what was going to happen there. It's just like, a root for a tree. It's going in so many directions. There's so many TikToks, so many YouTube videos, and so many people making predictions of the way it should go or how it should go, that when we get there, it's going to be amazing to see how many people were right, because it's like March Madness. Like you think where it's going, and then next thing you know, upset, and you're like, "Oh, my bracket's busted. Now I gotta relook at this whole thing." So
right, and you still got Solo. Like, what's he really doing there? Like, what's he really doing there? Like, what is his whole? Like, yeah, he's quiet, but like we always know from movies, always the quiet ones, the ones who don't say the most stuff, who will like really flip things and put it on his head. So, like, like the way this is written is. Because you have no idea what's going to happen from day in to day out to night in to night out, pay-per-view. You have no clue what's about to happen, the way it's about to happen. If you think you got it, like I said, you think you got an idea, and then it takes that left turn, and you're like, well, okay, shit. Like, what's going on now? Like, so yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And one thing with that's been happening a lot more recently with WWE that I've noticed is that you're as we're talking, there's something going on behind us, like with Paul Heyman hiding behind the pole, or you see in the background like Damian Priest consoling Rhea Ripley, but yet the interview is about somebody that's not even part of that storyline. So there's little things that you have to kind of stay in your seat for. And I feel like that's something smart that they're doing is it's grabbing your attention. It's making you wait, like those barcodes or QR codes that Bray Wyatt had. You're waiting, listening to Natalia talk or Alexa Bliss, but next thing you know, there's a QR code there, and you're like, oh, that right there. It's like that another meme of Leo going, oh, there it is. Like so.
I like that one. I like that one. But you gotta let it. You gotta I think what the issue was and why things kind of got stale for a while was that they're spending too much time trying to control everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're trying to control everything a person says, and the way that they act, the way the other person's going to react, who should be in the background for an interview, what should be going on here, what should be going on there, and you just can't. You got to let it just do its thing. Like trust that the people are going to go out there and deliver that. Let them talk. Let them do their thing. Let stuff bounce off. Let the reactions kind of be what they are, and let the audience get sucked into it. And then you can deal with the other stuff later on. But they know what they're doing. Like they're out here in front of these people. Like you just gotta let them. You gotta let. It's like the one place where you should be okay to let them freestyle. Like just let them freestyle a little bit and bring the people in because they know what they're doing. They're out there. They know who's watching. They know who's watching, who's chanting their names, or who got the signs up. So.
Yeah, but even they say it all the time when they're in the ring, they're listening to the crowd, and just like it goes back to Randy Orton where he thought everybody was cheering for him during a match, but little did they know there was something else going on with something else. So he was like, "Oh, do I need to switch my moveset because they're cheering me? I'm supposed to be the bad guy. Like this isn't what's supposed to happen." So
just let it.
Just let it evolve naturally. If it seems like they're enjoying that, well, then don't go the route that you want. Just kind of go with the fans. So
yeah, just don't force feed it. We know what we want to see. We're out there. We know what we want to see. We know what we're rooting for. We know we'll go, oh my god, just let it evolve into that and do it. And then behind the scenes, take it from there and kind of tweak some stuff here and there. But just let them do their thing and just kind of. And they're getting back to that because I felt like even though the storylines were kind of dumb, I felt like a lot of the Attitude Era was kind of that. They just kind of let stuff kind of just freestyle, and people were like, okay. Because after, some of that stuff they needed to dial back. It got to the point where it was wild, and I was like, what the hell are we watching? But still, it was it was entertaining, and you were in, you were locked in. So,
I mean, some of that garbage filter there that does stand out. I always bring it up was when Mark Henry and Mae Young were together, and she gave birth to the hand. I mean, that any other time you'd be like, how do I explain that to non-wrestling fans? But I have to give them credit for the Raw 25 when they had the guy in the full-blown hand costume saying hi to everybody so you could bring it back. But I mean,
but that's the thing. If you how do you pitch that to somebody though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you pitch? Those are always those moments where I wonder, this guy had to go in there and be like, hey, so I got an idea. And you have to totally sell that idea. And I know the second it came out of his mouth, they were like, what? He was like, no, you gotta hear me though. You just wait a minute, And they were just like, what?
What's the end out be here?
Yeah,
it gives birth to a hand.
And they didn't let him do it, and you were just like, okay, but that's what wrestling is. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to take itself seriously.
Yeah,
and if you're looking for it to take itself seriously, then it's then what are you watching? It's not supposed to take itself seriously. All the stuff that's in there, the Undertaker, we love the Undertaker, but come on, dude, seriously, you all believe this is the the dead man walking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he sits there to, like, no, like that's the point you got. If you can't be sucked into the character and believe the character and put all the other stuff aside, then you don't really need to be up here watching any of this. Like,
that's probably why we get a lot of criticism in the wrestling world that it's fake, and it's just like, well, the Game of Thrones show you're watching is just as fake as what I watch, whereas at least my fake, gotta get the little finger things in there for Randy, are that like they're actually athletes performing stunts, whereas your Game of Thrones people are on wires falling into extra protection padding. Yes, wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans, when they fall from high structures, the objective is not to kill the person. You need to have padding there. I'm sorry. Like, yes. Oh, I saw the padding. Well, congratulations, Sherlock. We're not here to kill people. This isn't back in the early days when Mick Foley went off the Hell in a Cell when we just thought, holy shit, this is cool. No. We have to protect these people because, we don't need, something bad happening.
Right. It is like, and that's just it. Like, you're not tuning in to see regular guys and regular women just go out there and talk and like smack each other or something. Like, that's why
we can leave that for Dana White.
Right. But no, but that's why, but on that same topic, that's why we got like UFC and like boxing and things of that nature, where it's like, yeah, I know the hits and the things are real and more there, the beefs are real and all that stuff comes out of there. But it's like, yeah, but they're not putting on a show 24/7. Not putting on a show 24/7. They go through their little stuff, and then like a lot of times you don't even know what's going on with them because they either chime in every once in a while on social media, they're doing their thing until the next fight comes up. Like, I want to see a character. I want to see a character. I gotta believe you are Sergeant Slaughter. I don't care about who you are regularly. Like, if you're gonna be Sergeant Slaughter, then sell me with Sergeant Slaughter. I want to see you come out and do it. Jake the Snake. Bring the snake out, do the stuff. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see that. Who you are when you're grocery shopping, that's cool. But when you're in the ring, like, that's what I want to see. Like, be that person. Sell it and make me believe it. That's all I want to do. Make me believe it. So we can believe, the Undertaker, the Canes, and we can believe the whole spiel of that. We can believe somebody's crazy, the Bray Wyatts and the mind control and all that. Like, it's over the top. It's fucking stupid. But it's like, but I'm not here to try to see something real. I'm here to be entertained. Entertain me. I don't care what you're doing. Entertain me. Like,
and it's so funny that you brought up UFC and boxing, but they take a lot from the entertainment world, and probably catch a lot of heat for this. But prime example, Conor McGregor, Logan Paul, his brother. What are they always doing before their pay-per-view? They're selling the pay-per-view to people. So you and I say we're having this marquee matchup. We're going to throw shots. We're going to throw shade. We're going to get under each other's skin. We're going to have a fake. There's another little finger gun for you or whatever those things are called. I don't even know how to do it for Randy. Where we're going to fake a little square off so that, we can build the anticipation for this fight. Because ultimately the objective is to sell tickets so that our prize money is more, so that we can get more marquee fights. Obviously, we have to win them so we can continue to grow. But it's quite funny that they're doing the same thing as wrestling. And the other thing I'll bring up is NFL. Every time someone wins the Super Bowl, you just saw it with Patrick Mahomes. What's he walking down, drinking a beer, holding is a WWE championship belt because he thinks it's cool because he's got this belt. And little do they know, it's like advertising, marketing. It's,
whether you like Aaron Rodgers or not, what's he always doing? Always
discount, double check.
Always doing the belt thing. But that's the thing. Like, in those, it may be more real because a lot of times the beefs are more real and they get really, really personal. But do you have to broadcast that? You don't have to broadcast that. You don't have to sit up there and do a TikTok or whatever, or get in front of your press conference and really broadcast how deep the beef is with the person over there. You can talk. You can make it subtle and just let them know, like, like, yo, like when we get in there, just watch what happens. Like, I'm gonna bust that. Right? Like that's what we're gonna do. But no, you sell it big, like they do. Like you said, like they do in wrestling. You sell it big. You get big. You want to talk. You jump up there. You're inflating yourself to be bigger than what it is, so people can be like, yo, this is about to be the thing, because that's what you want to see. You gotta drag me in there. So let's get it out there. Let's talk. Let's yell. Let's scream. Let's talk about each other. Let's put the cameras there and be like, oh man, like they're really out here. Like when they get in that ring, it's like, yeah, you gotta sell it. The only thing is most of the time, even then, like I don't believe a lot of the fighters actually act like that outside of.
Oh yeah, they're just building their brand and get their name on their whatever sponsor they have, or like Conor McGregor obviously has an end goal of to promote himself, so he's getting more lucrative, Nike ads or Gatorade sponsorships.
Yeah, he has that whiskey or something like that. Like
more eyes on this product,
I think that UFC promotes that too. So like he will be out there and they'll kind of do his thing. But that's just the whole. That's just the whole point. It's you got to selling it like wrestling. So now they're doing it everywhere else. You're getting louder, and people want intros, and they want to do something. They want to talk about it. Like you said, the NFL. Now you got players grieving their beefs about other teams who they're about to play coming up, just because, like it's like you're really trying to get people to be like, yo, this is going to be a show. This is going to be a thing. Like, so that's wrestling, man. That's where I always see it from. That's where it starts. Wrestling. That's where the beef starts, man.
Yeah, and it's just like anything else. I mean, you're trying to build your brand. You're trying to get eyes on your product. That's why, the celebrities come into the wrestling world, and that's why the wrestling goes into the celebrity world, because it's all about getting eyes on your product that you normally don't get. And I know Logan Paul gets a lot of shit for what he did overseas, what he does, who he is. But at the end of the day, if you're a business and this guy has 24 million people watching what he does, you bet your ass you're going to try to get him in there, because you're going to get a whole nother wave of people. Same with like when I'm networking with other TikTokers, they don't know me from anybody else, but if say their favorite TikToker is talking about me, like, oh, well, if they like him, I'm probably going to like this other person, and that's what I'm trying to build here. Huge shout out to Hambone for doing that. He's made like 5 videos about me, larger following than me. He's, seeing something in me that he likes, and he's just promoting the hell out of me. That's all it is. It's networking to build your brand to get to the next step. So,
and I mean, Logan Paul got some skills in there.
He's surprisingly very good. Granted, he probably rehearses it 1,000 times, but that's what you do in your craft, is you continue to work at it. So
right.
But I mean, look at the Miz from MTV to world champion. He was just in the celebrity basketball game, made a hell of a 3-pointer from half court. And this was all started at reality TV into where he is now. He's such a diverse superstar that he's doing these other things to get eyes on the product.
I think a lot of people are just surprised at like how many celebrities and people outside of the world of wrestling like wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they like wrestling. Like when how excited Israel was in UFC when Booker T asked him a question and he was in the audience. Like, you ever look that up? And he sees him, he's like, is that Booker T? And he's just like, oh my God. And he literally stops all the stuff and he's like, 5 times. And he's like doing all the little hand stuff. And I'm like, you'd be surprised at how many people really like wrestling. Like they grew up watching wrestling. Like a lot of people do. So it's just like, when you get a chance to kind of emulate or be in that little world, like, a lot of them are going to take that opportunity because it's fun, Plus, you get to hit somebody with a chair, so why not? Shit.
It almost kills somebody like The Undertaker always does. But
Right.
back to you. We got to get back on track because you are the star here at Friends of the Sports Circle. You mentioned going to that first indie event. What's that?
So I'm a star everywhere I go, baby.
That's right. That's right. You mentioned that first indie event that I took you to. Do you want to give us some of your memories of that? What you liked, what you didn't like? Kind of just, give us your fan perspective of that.
Man, the shit talking, like all the stuff we were saying to them when they came out there. No, man, I wouldn't say I didn't like any of it. It was an experience to kind of see where a lot of these people, even the pros, kind of started out doing. Like a lot of them would talk about being on like the littler circuits like this and kind of like doing some stuff. So to actually go there and kind of see how you have to work your stuff in front of a smaller crowd and kind of be locked in. You don't get the big lights and the pyrotechnics and or whatever is going on. And a lot of those guys might not even have whatever they're working on now, might not even translate later on. They might have to switch it up a couple times. And, and even the pros, when you look at it, like you'll look back on some of them and go, oh, that was what's his name? And they're like, yeah, well, he was doing a different thing back then. And then he go out there and change it. So yeah, no, it was interesting to see. It was fun. And I liked it more before like the fan interaction with the people. Cause they knew it was smaller, but they knew you were saying something to them. They knew you were saying something.
They can hear you.
they can hear you, and they'll look too, and they'll say some shit back. So it was like, okay, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I know. I definitely told you guys beforehand, before Darren came out, that you all needed to cheer for Darren, and then you all went silent, and I'm the only dude in the whole place going, "Let's go, Darren! Darren sucks!" And I'm like, guys. And then I just kept going. And as soon as they got quiet, what did I do? What? You're all tired? And then I just went again, and the whole place was just booing Corbin again. So, yeah.
Like that's it is. Like it was just fun. It's more intimate that way.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get you to another MAW show or Heavy on Wrestling is coming back. First Wrestling, I need to get you in First Avenue. Me and you. Definitely. Sorry, Amy. Randy, take a shot. That's pretty late, but yeah, definitely got to get you at First Avenue, man, because it's 21 plus. As you can see, this is our most swearing podcast because this is me and Montel in our true form, aka Mista Monte.
Mista Monte, you can't say it so white, man.
I'm sorry. No,
they don't know, man. If they could have a camera on when we were actually around us when we go to those things, like if you had that censor button, that thing would be on fire right now.
Oh yeah. And I feel like you and I, when we're out in public together, it's just like a weird combo. No one is safe. Say weird things to strangers. I'm gonna put it out on the internet. I remember the first time we went to the concert together. It was me, you and the ladies, and we're in the elevator. And it opened up. I said the things I did, and their jaws just dropped. The girls were yelling at us. You and I were laughing. That was the greatest thing ever. Family Christmas. Oh, man. Like, I'm the only one in the whole room that was like, oh, high five. And everybody's staring at us. Our ladies are yelling at us. Oh, man. We are a bad combo.
It is a great combo, depending on how you look at it.
I don't want to get censored, so I'm not saying the things that we had said because I'm trying to grow my podcast, not be James Gunn and get kicked out. So
you can't. You don't want any of that, right?
No, not on the internet. Nope.
If you want to laugh, oh yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Come on, man, forget about it. It was funny. It was funny. Well, regardless of what you said, it was funny. And still, what was it, the dude that at the indie show, the dude that looked like Maven, and we were yelling at him, and he kept turning around, like looking at us, and I was like, dude, you about to get your ass kicked. You gotta don't worry about what I'm saying. You gotta worry about him. Oh man, that was great. That was so much fun.
Yeah, I've been going to a lot more wrestling shows as a vendor, so I have to keep my mouth shut. But I mean, those early days at shows, man. Just the classic "Who are you" sign gets ripped up every time because that smug heel's like, well, who's this jerk with a sign? Or, one of my favorite ones too was when they're counting the guys out, they're like 3, 4, and then I'm like, hey ref, what's 5 plus 6? And he'll be like 6, like, no, but you're wrong, and then the whole place pops. And or when the bald guy's in a headlock and I'm yelling, ref, he's pulling his hair, just stupid things just to get a crowd going. And on a previous episode you all probably watched was with Shelby, when she yelled at one of the male wrestlers, "You're doing great, sweetie." And I busted that out at a show, and everyone just was like, "What did you just say?" I'm like, "I stole it from a girl. It's hilarious. I'm going with it." So, full-grown man in a beard yelling, "You're doing great, sweetie." So,
and that's what makes it great, and that's what makes it awesome. Because I bet you whoever was in the ring was like, what the hell? And it was just like, you got to keep a straight face.
Oh, yeah.
And you still got that Ginger King sign that we made for you when we went to, I think it was SmackDown?
Oh, yeah, so I keep that so it doesn't get ruined. That's got nostalgia written all over it here. So.
Oh, there we go. We went to SmackDown. Oh, man. I was a little upset that it wasn't on TV, though. I know we didn't have
We'll get you there.
Seats, but I was like, I just want to see it one time. So I was like, there it is. It was like 3 seconds, but there it was. We was holding that sign right there.
Now that the girls are older, maybe we can bring them to a show and they can be like, this is boring. Can we go?
Right. They made that. Sherelle will love it, though. She'll love it. She still likes to tune in, every now and then, especially since if she can see a match with Ronda Rousey in it. So,
yeah. We'll definitely have to get her on here too, and we'll get her riled up and get her swearing too. So,
oh my God, that's the one you want to talk to. The nostalgia with the wrestling in there. We were setting up her office in her office right now. All the old magazines she had with like the Undertaker on them and Lita and all that stuff from back then, like the old toys she used to have too, the action figures with all the wrestlers.
Nice.
Man. Like those were great times. Those were fun times where you could play wrestle in the room, and that was the thing. Me and my brother used to go in there. You got to have your persona. You get in there, when the music hits. That was our thing too, because you couldn't watch. This way, me and my brother like the Hardy Boys. Like you couldn't watch it, and when that music hit, we had to get up and start doing all the stuff they were doing because you knew what was going on, man. Like it was great. It was great.
Well, we like to keep these short. I forgot to tell you off camera, just so we get the viewers in. It seems to be working really well. Is there anything else you want to throw out, plug? Any socials you want to do? I know you're not really, social guy on the platforms like I am. But
not yet. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. Not yet. Y'all just remember the little name, the little plug you put on there for me. So one day y'all might see me pop up somewhere,
Perfect.
Or you might get some footage of us at another indie show someplace yelling at some people. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I don't want to get canceled. There's so much shit I want to say. And generally, like I said in the beginning, we don't swear that much on this show, but like when I'm around you, like it's So
we're gonna swear a lot of the time, brother. We're gonna swear.
That's right, brother. Yep. So all right, sir. Montel, I appreciate you. I miss you guys like crazy down there. We got to get together soon. I know it's wedding season. Randy, take a shot. I love you guys to death. Obviously, we know how our story went, but I'm glad that I still got you four in my life for sure. Definitely brother for life, brother from another mother. So I can't wait to see you guys again soon. So give my love to the wife and kids. Randy hates this part because I get all sentimental, but fuck Randy. But yeah, give the family love for me, bro. So yeah. So all right, I just want to get that on camera so that if I ever get struck by a truck, you all know I cared. But
that ain't gonna come on. Even if that would happen, you got a wife now. They'll blame her. I've seen enough of those murder shows. I know how it works.
Yeah, make sure you are the one fighting for that in court if it ever happens. I tend to snore a lot, full disclosure, so she'll smother me with a pillow. But all right, sir, we'll kick you back to the lounge. We'll talk off camera a little bit. Thank you for coming on. I know we've been talking about this a long time. Being a dad, you're pretty busy. I've been kind of busy myself with other wedding activities. Randy, take a shot. Don't think we forgot about you. But thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. Definitely going to get you on here. Going to show off some more collectibles, talk more wrestling. Maybe we can con some more friends to come on and get the wife on with you. So
hey, no doubt. Thanks for having me on here. We are definitely gonna do it again, and we are gonna get the wife on here next time to talk about her stuff. So that'll be fun.
Perfect. And I don't know if you noticed when you said you used to wrestle in the bedroom and then you segued to your brother. I took it as you and the wife wrestling in the bedroom. So that is now on the internet, bro. You can show her that clip. She's going to kill me.
Oh, no, you're going to put this on YouTube. I'm going to make sure she sees that. I'm going to make sure she's going to be like, what were you talking about? Like, no, not that type of wrestling.
Well, she can just remember I helped supervise you build that desk for 7 hours that day. So.
Oh, yeah, that was that was not cool. And this is where that desk will stay even if we move out of here. I am not taking this motherfucker out. So.
All right, sir. I will kick you back to the lounge. I'll plug those sponsors, try to get back on track here. I love you, and we'll talk soon. All right, bro?
Hey, man. Love you, bro.
All right. All right, as you can see, Montel and I get a little wild. That's all I'm going to say on that. I don't need to get banned on my show here. We have way too much fun. Shout out to Hughes. Shout out to Superior Creations there for all your custom tumbler needs. As you can see, Rikishi, Hornswoggle, Rampage Santana, Joey Sierra, and the system all love their custom tumblers. You can too if you go to facebook.com/Superior Creations. Hit her up to get those. Check out the boys at 13 cards, subject to change. My logo's kind of in the way there. It's okay. But Leroy, Zach, and Jesse do a pretty good podcast over there as well. You would kind of think it's a second place podcast with Leroy's second place beard taking the shots because we are a rival podcast. Lastly, huge shout out to our sponsor, Darren Corbin. You can follow Darren on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Another great way to support Darren is on patreon.com/Darren Corbin. We can get all your Darren Corbin content with Dining with Darren, monthly giveaways and gifts. There's so much going on there at Patreon where it just starts out at $1. And as always, it's your boy Crander Q. I hope this episode doesn't scare you away. I had way too much fun with Montel today, and I'm still laughing inside. I'm trying to hold it all together. But as always, thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. It's your boy, Crander Q out.